Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Tasha and I'm here today to do my January kind of mid-month wrap-up. Everything that I have read between January 1st and January 17th. And then at the end of the month, I will do kind of a part 2 of everything that I read from the 18th until the end of the month. So it's been a while since I've been able to post a video. I believe the last video I posted was the end of October or beginning of November. I don't remember exactly, but over the holidays, between working full-time, 3 kids that are homeschooling, and just your normal everyday stress and everything, and then the holidays on top of that, everything just kind of became a little overwhelming. And so I want to thank everyone who stuck around for my 2-month vacation, I will say, from book 2. But I am back. I am going to be getting some videos recorded and posted, and hopefully I will be back in the swing of things of posting 1, maybe 2 videos a week. Hopefully I'll be able to get to where I can post more than that over the next few months. But starting out, since I'm back, I'm going to be doing the 1 to 2 videos a week. So I do plan on doing a kind of what I read or wrap up for November and December. It's not going to be any like drawn out reviews or anything like that, but just kind of give a brief overview of what I read for those 2 months. So expect that to be coming here in the next like few weeks or so. That was a lot of books though, so it's gonna take a little bit to get that put together. But I do plan on doing that so that you guys can see what I did read in November and December. And you guys can always also go jump over to my Goodreads. I do post everything that I want to read, that I'm currently reading, and that I have read on my Goodreads. So if you want to know what I've been reading or like what I rated certain books, jump over to my Goodreads and take a look over there. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into my wrap up for the beginning half of January. So for the first book that I read was Hard Cops by Scott Hildreth. This was the 7th book in the Selected Sinners MC series. This book followed Alec, or A-Train. This was the beginning of the month, so I don't remember exactly a whole lot, but I do remember that he wasn't exactly a part of the MC himself, but he was friends with people in the MC, and he did jobs for him and helped him out whenever needed and stuff, because he had been in the military with some of the people that are in the Selected Sinners MC. So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail because this is the 7th book. Next, I read Dark Promises by Christine Feehan. This was book 25 in her Dark or Carpathian series. This book followed Gary Jensen. So Gary Jensen was actually towards the beginning of the series a person that worked with the group of human mortals that were out to kill all of the Carpathians. And once he realized what they were doing and stuff, he didn't really exactly agree with it, and so he actually ended up flipping sides and became friends with the Carpathians. They have since found out that Gary could actually be transformed into a Carpathian himself, and so he has done that in these past books, and that might be a little spoilerish, so sorry about that. But anyway, this book is about him and finding his life mate, and I can tell you, I love Gary, so I was so excited to see that he has a life mate and that he found her and he was able to now live, with her. And because of his ancestry and who he is and how he became transformed and stuff, there was kind of a little plot twist. Things happened a little differently with him than it does with most Carpathians. So that kind of spinned it a little bit, which was pretty interesting. After that, I read book 1 and 2 in the Viper Creeds MC book by Ryan Michelle. Book 1 followed Spook Baker. Spook, his book was kind of a second chance romance. He got to find the girl that he used to love back in the day, and they, had a falling out and went their separate ways. Well, he got his second chance with her. He is also in the process of trying to clean up the MC. His dad had made a really big mess of things, and so he's in the process of trying to clean that up when he finds the love of his life, and they get that second chance at love. The second book follows Stiff, and not going to go a whole lot into his story. I forgot to tell you what all I rated these. So, Hard Cops, I rated 4 stars. Dark Promises, I rated 5 stars. And then Challenged and Conquering, I rated both 5 stars. And I've got them all in my notebook, so if you keep wondering why I'm looking down. Then after that, I read Blackjack by Elizabeth Knox. This had popped up as a Audible Escape recommendation, so I went ahead and gave it a try because, I mean, you guys know how I feel about my MC romances, and this is a first book in the Reaper's MC. Unfortunately, I did not pay much attention, and so I listened to it, and then I realized that the rest of the books are not in the Audible Escape package, so I have not got to read any of the other books. But I have read the first one, which is about Ashley. Ashley is the MC princess. She is the president's daughter, and she grew up with Blackjack, who is kind of like an enforcer for the MC, and they have a kind of a quick little romance, but all the rules are hands off of the president's daughter. No one touches her. She's the princess, and that's like one of the main rules in the MC is do not touch Ashley. Well, he kind of breaks that rule, and then she goes off and they separate ways, and then she ends up getting married and is in a very abusive relationship. And this is in the synopsis, so I'm not ruining anything. But she ends up finding out that she's pregnant, and her extremely abusive husband ends up basically beating the crap out of her and causes her to miscarry. When this happens, she realizes, I guess this has been going on for a while, for years, but that was kind of the last straw for her, and she decides that she's out. She needs to get out, so she up and leaves one night and drives back home and ends up facing, her father and everyone as to the mistake that she made about marrying this guy and what has been going on this whole time. And Blackjack ends up seeing her and gets mad, obviously, because it's, that lost love. And so they get their second chance and end up, obviously still loving each other and living happily ever after. But that was really good. I rated that one 5 stars as well. I do really want to read the rest of the series. I just haven't had a chance to actually pick them up yet. After that, I started the Corpse Security series. This series is by Harper Sloan. I did read books 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4, and 5. So these follow Axel, which is the first book, Cage, which is the second book, Beck is the third book, Uncaged is a novella that continues on with Cage's story. And then Cooper is the 4th book, and Locke is the 5th book. And I absolutely loved every single one of these. I gave them all 5 stars. They're a suspenseful romance, so, it just kind of follows that whole same formula. They meet the girl, they fall in love with the girl, something bad happens, they end up having to rescue the girl. There's issues that come up, and then they live happily ever after. After that, I read the second book in the Love at Stake series, Vamps in the City by Carolyn Sparks. I give this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed this one. It was super funny. I read the first book, I believe, in December. It was a recommendation from someone, and so I ended up going ahead and picking it up, and I thought it was so funny. It did definitely have some slow parts that were kind of a little bit boring, but for the most part I did enjoy it, so I decided to pick up the second book. I really enjoyed this book. This book follows Darcy, and Darcy used to be a I believe she was like a newscaster or something like that. Anyway, so the guy that does like the hiring for the newscasters and stuff like that is very sexist. He doesn't believe women should be in front of the camera. There's no way that a woman could do the job as like a newscaster. And when she points out that she's done it before, he's like, yeah, but that was when you were a human. And so she ends up coming up with this idea of trying to help him with ratings. It points out that after a certain time, then everything is just kind of bland on their TV network. So she comes up with this idea to do a reality show, kind of like a vampire's version of The Bachelor. You have, because in this series, you have like the master vampire, and each master vampire has a harem. So they have like all these women that can't survive or live on their own, and each master vampire has a harem. Well, in the first book, the master vampire doesn't want anything to do with the harem. He just has them because he's supposed to have them. It's tradition. That's what he does until he finds his mate. And she's like, if you want me, I'm not putting up with a harem. And so he has to get rid of all these women. And so all these women who now don't know how to fend for themselves are like, now what do we do? And so they all decide to participate in this kind of bachelor situation where they bring in all these male vampires that don't have harems, and whoever wins, then they like get to date all these women and stuff. And so whoever wins becomes the new master of this harem and then wins like a cash prize. And she ends up deciding to throw a little spin in there that no one knows about until the show starts airing. But a few of them are actually mortal, and she ends up falling for one of these said mortals, and the story progresses from there. So it was kind of funny. I mean, I think I rated it 4 stars. Yeah, I rated it 4 stars. So I mean, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't the best paranormal romance that I've read, but it was definitely funny. So I really did enjoy that one. After that, I read books 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the King series by T.M. Frazier. I read the first 2 books in the King series back in December and really enjoyed them, so I did continue on with those. Those are on the Audible Escape, and so I did listen to those on days like at work and stuff like that. I really enjoyed those. It kind of took a different little spin. So King is not a part of an MC, but he has friends that are. And so like the first 2 books follow King and his relationship, and then books 3 and 4 follow Bear and his relationship, and Bear is actually a part of the MC. And then 5 through 7 follow Preppy. Preppy was my favorite out of the whole series. So I recently found R.S. Gray through BookTube and through the Audible Escape, and I read quite a few of her books back in December and really enjoyed what I read. And so this month I picked up The Fortunate Ones by R.S. Gray, and I really enjoyed it. She has a way of really drawing you in with her writing and keeping you there. I could not put down any of her books that I've read so far. I've loved every single one of them. I've given them 4 or 5 stars. This one, The Fortunate Ones, is about Brooke Davenport and James Ashwood. Brooke is a kind of server / bartender at a country club with her, and she works there with her sister. And she's got her 5-year plan. And meeting someone does not really fall in that category, so she's not even looking. Then there's James Ashwood, who is one of the most eligible, I don't know if he's a millionaire, billionaire, he's one of the most eligible bachelors, and every time he walks into the country club, all the girls just swoon over James. And she could really care less. I mean, every time he comes in, people point him out, and she's like, I don't care, what's your point? I really enjoyed it. I rated that one 4 stars. After that, I picked up the 25th book in the Argano series by Lindsay Sands. This one was called Immortal Unchained. This book followed a new member that I hadn't met yet. I'm not really quite sure how you pronounce his name. Domitian? Domitian. Argenis. Argenis is basically the Spanish twist for the Arganos. and he gets tricked into falling into the hands of the bad guy that has been in the last few books, who has been taking immortals. He finds out that this doctor, evil doctor, has his life mate. He actually found his life mate like 15 years prior to this book, when she was 13 years old. And so he's like, she's way too young to be claimed, so she needs to live. And so he makes a plan. He's going to let her grow up. He's going to wait till she has finished school, went to college, finished college, and has been working in her chosen profession for at least 1 to 2 years before he shows up and tries to woo her and make her fall in love with him, and then tell her who he is and all that. Well, things get a little sidetracked when he finds out that this doctor has his life mate, and he has to go rescue her. So it was definitely a different take on some of the way some of her other books have gone, and I really enjoyed it. So of course I rated it 5 stars. I think I've rated every single one, but maybe one of the Arsenault books, I think I rated 1 4 stars. Every other book I rated 5 stars. After that, I picked up Lover Unbound by J.R. Ward. This is the 5th book, I believe it is, in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. I've been buddy reading these each month with Ashley from Ash Heart Books, and I have been really enjoying these. It has been so much fun buddy reading this with her, and I mean, we've been having a blast with it, and I definitely can't wait to pick up the next one. This book was about Vicious, and I was super excited to read Vicious's story, and I did really enjoy it. But I believe me and Ashley kind of agreed that they all kind of bounce between storylines a little bit, but this one seemed to a little bit more than normal. This was Vicious's story, and Dr. Jane Ward, who he decides he wants to claim as his mate. But it also followed a lot with Fury and John, and I think it did a good job in setting the next couple of books up for Fury and John, because Fury's is next month. But with that being said, I kind of feel like she may have went a little overboard with the multiple storylines a little bit. Not saying I didn't enjoy it. I absolutely love this series so far, and I really did enjoy when she was talking about Fury's timeline and the things that happened with John and everything. But I kind of feel like it took away just a tad from Vicious's story. And there is a twist with the scribe virgin and Vicious in this story that totally blew my mind. Did not see it coming. And I remember messaging Ashley right after, and I was like, what just happened? Seriously. So that one kind of threw me for a loop a little bit, but I did rate that one about a 4 out of 5. After that, I had actually got sent a promo code for Audible for a free audiobook by L.A. Pepper. Never heard of her before, but she was promoting one of her new books, Love Always Wins. And so I had agreed that I would listen to it and give a review. I enjoyed this book. I felt like it was kind of lacking a little bit. I did rate it 3 stars. I would recommend it for just a cute read. This followed Gabriel, DeVille, and Stella. Stella is on vacation, and she ends up running into this little girl who hears her playing her guitar and asks her if she'll teach her how to play the guitar. And come to find out, she is the daughter of this like billionaire, Gabriel, and he's got that whole I'm rich, so everyone has to do what I say because money can buy anything kind of attitude. And he's just like, okay, so how much do you want? I'll pay you $2,000 to teach her. No, that's not enough. How about $3,000? I'll pay you $5,000 a week to teach her. And it's just, she doesn't quite understand, because she wasn't raised she didn't grow up with money, and so she's like, this is outrageous. You're not going to pay me $5,000 to teach her how to play the guitar. And so he ends up deciding that he really likes her and he wants her for himself as a partner, but he feels that he can't just come out and be like, hey, I like you. So he decides to try to woo her a little bit, and things happen. One of his ex-girlfriends shows up, causes a little issue. She decides to go back home. He, of course, at this point realizes he can't live without her, so he meets her at the airport to try to get her to come back with him, and there's a happily ever after. So it was a really good book. I really did enjoy it. I just felt like it was a little rushed and lacked just a little bit, but I mean, it was cute. It was a very cute book. And last but not least, I started a book back in November for the Christmas season, and I finally finished it. This was a physical read, and just because I had a lot of time to listen to audiobooks, but not a lot of time to actually sit down and physically read any books. And so I had started this novella called Santa in a Kilt. I had gotten it free, and I think it was off of Book Funnel. I think it was one of those where they send you the promo code and you go download it, and they send it to your Kindle. Anyway, it is book 2.5 in the Hot Scott trilogy. I have found out that all the trilogy is in the Audible Escape, but the novella was not. So I enjoyed it. I just didn't have a whole lot of time to sit down and physically read. So I think I'm definitely going to go and listen to the trilogy on audiobook because I love my Scottish men. So I think I'm definitely going to listen to those here soon. But this book followed Kara McLeod and Shay Callahan. And Shay is a divorce lawyer. He took over after his dad, and he has sworn off love. He has battled, divorces and watching people fight and everything for so long that he's just like, I want no part of this. This is what relationships end up, and I want no part in it. And so he has sworn off love. And then there's Kara McLeod. And Kara has had a crush on Shay for so long. And she decides that she needs to ask him a favor to help her. She wants to start a school for basket weaving. And so she asks for his help to talk to like the laird kind of guy that's over their community, and to see if they will help build this school for her. And things happen. They fall in love. So, I mean, it's a romance, so. But that's what I've read so far in January. Like I said, it was 22 books. And I rated that 3 stars. So, I've got a few books that I'm currently reading and listening to and stuff like that. And so, I'll come back towards the end of January, beginning of February with my part 2 in my January wrap up. I also have some 2020 goals that I'm going to set for myself. I had planned to have them all written out and decided on in December, which did not happen. But with that being said, I will probably within the next couple of weeks have a video on what my 2020 goals will be. If there's any ideas that you guys would like, any tags that you think I should do, or any kind of video ideas that you guys would like to see me do, go ahead and put them down in the comments below so I can write them down. This year I definitely want to work towards recording more videos that you guys want to see. So if you guys have any ideas of things you would like to see me record, let me know down below so that way I can write those ideas down so I can work towards getting those out for you as well. If you've read any of these books that I have mentioned today, let me know, and let me know what you thought of them. If you have not read them, go check them out and then come back and let me know what you thought. You can also find me over on Twitter, Bookstagram. I'll have all my information down below to my Twitter and everything, my Goodreads and all that stuff. down below in the description box. Can't wait to talk to you guys down in the comments and over on Twitter and all of that good stuff. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Click the little notification bell next to it so you can get notified whenever I post a video. And hit that like button so that way I know that you liked the video. And for now, that is it. I hope everyone has a wonderful day and a great week. Hope you guys get some reading done. Bye.